السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We are on page 14, the second paragraph from the top. The Sharia has preserved its genuineness and validity through so many centuries and revolutions, developments, and clashes in human history. This shows that the ways of God's noble messenger, upon him be peace and blessings, is based on eternal truths.
This is a topic that some people may argue against. No, it doesn't have the validity anymore. Someone may say, someone may argue against it. But if we understand the word Sharia as we explained last week, including the Sharia, not only the organizing the personal and social life of a person, social life, and introducing the rules, principles, but also, and most essentially, the understanding of the meaning of existence, understanding of the meaning of life, and how can we make sense of our being in this world, also included in the Sharia. Then we understand that the main fundamental principles of Sharia has never worn off in the course of time, because it is very much consistent with the principles that we experience in the universe, in the existence of this world. So we know that the laws, the principles of the creation of this world never change, and the interpretation of the creation of this world also never changes. The organization of the physical life of a person or the social life of the people, the rules of Sharia, so far we experience that whatever is ordered or prohibited in the Sharia, still any human being can find it reasonable, acceptable, because by definition, the rules of Sharia must be in harmony with the creation of human nature, human feelings, human capacity, and also the principles created in this world. It means in accordance with the requirements of the universe. For example, let's say very first emphasis that the Quran or the Sharia introduced was to take care of the right of orphan, equality of human beings, and to follow justice always in the world. Or if you go into details, for example, not to gamble, not to steal, not to tell a lie, always be honest to your fellow human beings as well as the created world around you. What else? For example, it was very important to introduce the prohibition of interest, usury. At that time, three main things, as far as I can now gather: equality of human beings, taking care of the rights of the orphans, and prohibition of interest. Everybody who studies economics, we understand that although now the certain type of economics which is prevalent in the world based on interest because of the capital accumulation of the capital, encouraging people to save money and invest it with an encouragement, which is interest. If you invest your money, you will be paid interest. But if we consult human feelings, if you want to help somebody, if you want to help society, you should be selfish. You should be ready to help any other fellow human beings or the society with no expectations in return, which is the prohibition of interest. We have to learn how to be, selfless, not selfish, not being selfish. We have to help other people with no expectations in compensation for what we have done. For example, if you help a needy person and say that, for example, the simple example, of course the examples must be very simple. If a person falls down in the street, and if you take this man in your car to hospital, and after taking him to hospital because he's needy, now if you ask him, then you have to pay me, let's say $50 for transportation. Do you feel comfortable about it? Human feelings say, because of this help, you feel happy. Compensation is in the feeling that you feel satisfied and you did something good and you get pleasure out of it. I helped somebody needy. But when it comes to contributing to the economy of the community, capitalist system suggests us that you should get some compensation. But is it help or not? If I am helping the community, I shouldn't expect anything in compensation, in return. I should be proud and I should be happy and I should get pleasure out of my help. That's why it is for me, it is unimaginable in the first century of the Quran's revelation to prohibit interest, usually it was beyond imagination. It was so prevalent everywhere. And also prohibition of slavery, it was everywhere practiced, with no exception. And slavery, the practice of slavery was taken as normal, something to be done and expected. But in Sharia, it is strange that a person who has no study of economics, who has no study of sociology, and who has no study of psychology, he introduced all these rules to human beings. If we think that the Sharia is outdated, which is introduced by a person who lived in 7th century Arabian desert, then it is completely contradictory. He doesn't know the consequence of all these practices. But we understand that it is very human. It is very human to help somebody with no expectation in return. It is very human to see everybody equal as human beings. It is the fundamental base of prohibition of slavery. It is unimaginable at that time to prohibit slavery. It was so ingrained in the social life of that age, everywhere in the world, no exception. The first time the prohibition of slavery was introduced by the Quran. It is impossible to imagine that time. And it is still valid, and it is easy to confirm by using our human feelings. We have to understand that the order of the universe never changes. Human feelings also never change. So these are appropriate. What the fundamental principles of Sharia are appropriate to the requirements of the nature of the creation as it is, the way everything is created. What is misleading for people to think of Sharia only in terms of minor things and relevant things. For example, it may change from age or from century to century, but Sharia means you have to grow a beard. Sharia means you have to have certain clothes, certain way of dress. Or someone may say, if someone sees Sharia at this level, for example, introducing of zakat, which is charity, it's a very essential. Of course, everybody feels that when they help needy people, poor people, they are happy. But to make it as compulsory for everyone who is eligible to pay zakah was also introduced by Sharia in the human society. Compulsory, because not everybody freely follows his feelings. Some people may exploit it. Some people may not follow it. But make it necessary that you have to pay charity. It means you have to pay zakat in the technical world of Islamic literature. You have to pay zakat, and paying zakat should not be expected in return anything. For example, proud or having status, different status in the society because you paid zakat. You paid quite a lot of money to the poor people. You have to humble yourself because you did it. In the Quran, it is clearly explained that you are given out from what you are given by your Creator. It means you are not favoring anyone. So you cannot you cannot take pride of what you have done. But the zakat is completely different concept from a general charity. It means giving away from your property. It was compulsory to pay zakat, although it was made compulsory to pay zakat through Sharia. Again, now we understand that people give to charity, but they take pride of it. But Islam introduced that no, you cannot take. You cannot be proud of what we have given because it is necessary for you to give anyways. And also give it in the name of the one who gave the property to you. But one might say that, charity looks like a tax. What is the difference between zakat and tax? Have you ever thought about it? Sorry?
Your own will.
Your own will. As a result of Sharia says you have to.
No, I think for me it's like wanting to do something versus having to do something.
Yeah, but Sharia doesn't say if you want you can give to Sharia you can give tax. Sharia says you have to give tax.
So you're applying the Sharia after you believe in it, not you are applying it and then you believe in it. Like, because it makes sense to you, or I guess because it applies to your, I don't know, reality, it fits, versus you having to like mold your reality just because it says so.
Now let's go. It's a good attempt to answer, but still I didn't find that you got into the point that I am expecting. It's personal expectation. What is the source of Sharia? Let's start from there. Let's think about it. What is the source of Sharia? Source of Sharia. Where does the Sharia come from?
The Creator.
Sorry?
Creator.
From your Creator. Now, when Sharia says you have to give to charity, let's put the technical word zakat, because charity is different from zakat actually. Charity is not compulsory by the rules of Sharia. Yeah. So your Creator asks you to do that. So what are you expected to do? What are you expected to have in your mind when you give to charity? You are obeying, continue, you are obeying the will of your Creator. And that makes you understand, realize that it is my Creator who is asking me to give away some of the property He has given to me. So He has given it to you. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. They give to charity from what we have provided them. Look at the presentation of the Quranic rule. It is not that you have earned. So tax is given to the contributing to the society, the community, from what you have earned. Zakat is given back to the society, especially the needy ones, not from what you have earned, but from what you are given by your Creator, what you are provided by your Creator. For example, when all the rules of Sharia, because it is introduced by our Creator, we have to understand that we have to apply the rules of Sharia in the name of our Creator. If someone practices the rules of Sharia not in the name of his or her Creator, it is not Sharia. It is very essential to notice that. Why? Would anybody like to make a comment? Why it is very essential? Every rule introduced in Islamic context, Quran or the practice of the Prophet, must be practiced in the name of the Creator, not anything else. That's why there should be no expectations in return for the application, for the practice of the rules of the Sharia. Now, for example, you see the signs, which I saw on various occasions, that your tax is working. Now, they are making the road or preparing or repairing the road, whatever, and say that, sir, you paid for it and we are giving back it to you. Yeah, you paid money and I am providing the road or transportation means to you. Look, the relationship between what? The man and the administration. But in anything practiced in Sharia, the relationship is based on what? The man and
Source of existence.
his Creator, his source of existence. Look, for example, if you give a poor guy out of your property a certain portion of your property, which is given to you by your Creator, to a poor person, do you say that, what did you do with my money? Huh? I gave you, what did you do with it? Do you understand? You have no right to do that. You have to leave the person free as he wants, as he uses it. But if you think that he doesn't deserve, he's not poor, he doesn't deserve charity, don't give it. Find somebody. So you cannot ask in compensation because you gave it in the name of God to a creature of God. But in secular laws, we have to be careful. In secular laws, what do? I am a taxpayer. I have to question the government. Yeah, you want them to do something in return for you. If the government, if the administration doesn't do something in return for you, pay back. Organize the society, secure the peace in the society, for example. So it is a mutual relationship. It is not really giving away with no expectation. For example, you do yoga. I'm not saying it's wrong, but in principle, you do yoga for what? To be healthy. In return, something for your benefit. When you pray, what do you expect? When you perform your prayer, what do you expect? I am performing what my Creator wanted me, asked me to do, and that's why I'm doing it. Are you expecting in return anything? So misconceptions may arise here. How? That we pray so that we will go to paradise. That is our misunderstanding. So you have to pray because you have to pray. That's why how you are created with this sense. If you don't express yourself before your God, you will be responsible for your own feelings, human feelings that or which are not satisfied. For example, when Quran says, "Fasjud faqtarib," it's interesting. Prostrate and get close to your Creator. Prostrate and get close to your Creator. What is expected here? When you prostrate, how do you get closer to your Creator when you prostrate? It's one of the Sharia, fundamental Sharia. It means one of the principles, not one of the, the explanation why we are asked to perform our prayer. It is for me that I should get closer to my Creator. If I don't express myself by prostrating, how do I feel? What is the meaning of prostration?
I mean, I understand it as a means of communicating with my Creator, expressing my state of being to my source of existence. But I had a question, actually.
So let's establish this.
Okay.
Let's establish this part that you told, and keep your question, and you will ask, inshallah. Now, let's make it clear. What does prostration mean? What do we do when we prostrate while we are praying? Let's establish this.
You show vulnerability, being vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah. More essential. Go to deeper. Prostrating means.
Feel we surrender.
Sorry.
Feel we surrender.
Surrender for what? What? If you can you surrender in another way other than prostration? What does surrender? The result is surrender. But why do you surrender? What do you express that so that you will surrender yourself to your Creator? What is the process there? I always expect you to say what I want to hear. It's very personal. So you said something and you will say something.
I said acknowledgement.
Acknowledgement of what?
Your reality, which includes everything.
What? Be specific.
Okay.
Be specific. Yes, that's very good. Very
I don't know
good.
what you have in your mind.
Yeah. So acknowledgement of your reality.
About your who you are, and
Yes, who you are.
eventually tying it to your source, who kind of gets into again who you are.
No, you are right. You are right. Needs a little bit further explanation. Let's listen to.
I think you align your free will with the will of the Creator.
But come to this, your free will. Why do you align your free will with the will of your Creator? How this process takes place? It's very simple.
I think it's just for me, it's a gesture to show that I have no clue.
Yes, that's good. But what answer I expect? You can, in the teachings of the Quran, not expressed explicitly in the Quran, but the teachings of the Quran is based on what? The acknowledgement of your status through using a reverse relationship. What do I mean by it? If I tell you this phrase, you will understand. You can only acknowledge You can only acknowledge your creator by acknowledging your createdness. There is no other way to acknowledge your creator. Now, by prostrating, which is also modesty, which is also realizing, these are all right answers, but not the answers that I am formulating in my mind. So, but very close, very helpful. Saying that I am made, I am needy, I am happy with what I am given. All these are all negative negations. These are all negations. I am needy to be created. I am needy to be alive. I am needy to be able to think, to be able to speak, to be able to see. I am needy to be able to be satisfied. I am needy. Somebody must provide. Somebody must provide. By expressing this, automatically, although some people say this is not, it is a learned thing, but I don't think it is a learned thing. To admit, to acknowledge that I am created, what does it mean? Automatically, this phrase infers to what? I have a creator. It's very automatic. That's why prostrate and get closer means get to know who your creator is. We don't know who our creator is. We can know who our creator is only by negation. It means your reality. Your reality is 100% dependent. Got it? So do we have any part in our existence which denotes that we are not dependent? Huh? I need anything? Definitely, I need anything that must be provided for me by something else. So we can question, who can provide it? The atoms, the particles, the stones, I don't know. The electrons can provide me the power to hear, to speak. You are a mimic. Think about it. Think about it. It is very true that when we pray, what we do, we acknowledge our reality and what the source of my reality is, and that is the purpose of prayer. Are we expecting anything in return? So I will pray, so God will reward me paradise. If you do that, it is an extreme statement, but extreme statement, don't bother to pray. You are bargaining. You are expecting anything, like the taxpayers. Where did you spend the tax I paid? You question. Can you say that how did you evaluate when I prayed? Can you speak to your creator like this? It is automatically your need. We are created with this need to express our reality. If we don't if we don't express, if we don't practice our reality, what happens? We feel orphan. We feel hopeless. We feel that no one is taking care of me. And we feel that our life is meaningless. We are the losers if we don't pray. We are the losers if we don't give to charity zakat. We feel bad if I treat another person as my slave, because I know that I am going against the nature that I am created with. I am harming myself. To reward of my obedience of Sharia is my own, for my own sake. Nothing to do with the expectation in return from God. But where the people usually confuse in the language of God, in the language of God, it means the speech of God. God promises that I am going to reward you endlessly. Paradise. Paradise means with no end. Happiness with no end. This is a favor. This is not a payment. This is a favor. Because God says, I am the merciful one. I give with no payment or with nothing in expectation. Extra, all bonus. What I give is bonus. I am going to give you paradise not because you prayed. You prayed as if, I think it is difficult to grasp a little bit, for yourself. You admitted your reality, and you felt comfortable within yourself. You felt satisfied with your existence. You felt happy that you are being truthful to your reality. That's for you. But I'm going to give you extra eternal happiness, not in payment. So that is the nature of rules of Sharia. Sharia means doing something not in your own name, but in the name of your Creator, who is your owner. So we cannot claim anything as a result of our practice of the rules. But in secular society, what they do, they have to have something in compensation. That is the difference between, if someone says you shouldn't steal in the form of a secular law, or Sharia law says you shouldn't steal, the both, they say the same thing. Or the difference is, when you don't steal, you acknowledge the source of the property of the person from whom you are getting, illegally, unlawfully, not according to unlawfully, according to Sharia unlawfully, not according to laws, the secular laws, unlawfully. You acknowledge the authority of the distribution of the property among the people belongs to the owner of the property. And you don't interfere into his will. He willed to give this property to that person. If you take it away from him, what do? If you steal from him, what do? You go against the will of the Creator, the owner of the property who has given it to you. I'm taking it away from you. But that is something to do with you and your Creator. But in secular law, when they say don't steal, it means to establish peace, to establish an order in the society. If you steal, I will punish you in this world by using the force. The administration has the force. So you don't steal because you have something in return. It means a peaceful society, a secure society. But in Sharia, although some people interpret that stealing disturbs the security, justice in the society, that is, if you like, it is a little bit big claim, secularistic interpretation of Sharia. It had an historical root. Some scholars, serious scholars, defended this idea, saying that Sharia is for a wisdom. Sharia has wisdom, because when you don't steal, you have a secure society. That's why God prohibited stealing. Look at them, that is very famous in Islamic history. If you, for example, if you treat somebody else as lower than you, it means the stability of the society is disturbed. Everybody must be treated equally. It means something, the rules of Sharia is practiced in order to gain something in this world. But this is a minority idea, and it doesn't make sense to me as far as the rules or the principles of existence is concerned. But the best way of understanding, nothing to do with in return. If you give somebody, a needy person, and make him a normal person now, not needy anymore, can you go and say that, look, you have wealth now, it is due to my help to you. Come on, give me a bowl of soup. What happens? What happens? It's not according to Sharia. That's why the spirit of Sharia says, even the people, for example, in those people who were trained, educated under the rules of Sharia, according to the belief system of Islam, if they helped somebody, they were more sensitive towards them to ask for a favor for anything. For example, the one practice it is not anymore, but it may be, some people may do that. For example, nowadays, if you invite friends for a dinner, etc., we don't invite poor people. We invite only our friends. So especially the poor and needy ones, when they invite them and they give them some sort of support, what was the fashion to do? To give them some extra after the food. You fed them, after the food you give them some extra amount of money or something, saying that, look, you accepted my invitation and you sacrificed something in your life of coming, and you helped me release my burden, because I have more than you, and I was feeling uncomfortable about it, seeing you needy. Say they have to pay something back to the ones whom they fed. Do you understand the mentality? They're not to be proud, not to take pride that they fed them, the needy ones. They will come comfortable. Your question, if you still have it.
Well, it's a little modified now, but I understand. I think I understand that through the worldview of the Sharia is to kind of see the ontological status of things very differently, in that you're recognizing the createdness of everything, including yourself. And so when we were speaking about how when I pray, I don't pray because of some sort of compensation of heavenly paradise, but because I must acknowledge, I feel that I must acknowledge my reality, my createdness. But the psychological sense of contentment or satisfaction I receive from expressing my reality also seems like a sense of compensation, though I may not necessarily seek it.
But it is, yeah, but it's existential. That's how
Right.
you are created.
And yes, that satisfaction is given to me.
But already, you don't expect something in the future. It's already within you.
Right.
But it is not. You don't expect something in the future.
I mean, I don't expect it.
But it is already in creation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine in creation, if I was not created with the ability to understand that when I express my reality, it is satisfactory for me. How would I know? How would I know that it is true? Would I make the distinction between what's right and what's wrong? It is innate, but it is already given to you in creation. That's why you are now performing what your reality requires you to do, not in the future expressing something, expecting something. So you don't expect, when you pray, you don't expect to be healthy. You don't expect the people who will respect you more because you are continuously coming to the mosque and praying. You don't expect any status, any status, or the change of status into society because you pray. And also in extension, you and I have no right to be rewarded with paradise. I don't have. But I expect, why not? If someone graciously rewards me with paradise, not as a result of my action, because he is gracious. Welcome. If someone treats you with mercy, would you be angry with him? No. But it is gracious, not in compensation to what you have done. And what you have obeyed in as far as the rules of the practices of the rules or the requirements of Sharia is concerned. So I think the point you made is there is a missing element there. It is already in your creation. You are practicing your creation. That's what Sharia is. But it is not a payment to be made in the future as a result of your action. It's already within you. Cannot say. For example, can you say that I am able to speak? So I'm paid something. You are created in this way. It's your reality. So if you are able to speak, you have to speak. You do speak. That's it. But after you speak, for example, you have some knowledge, distribute the knowledge or dispense the knowledge to others. You should know, you should take no pride of it. No, because that's what you are given and you are using what you are given. Nothing more. So if you, for example, if you tell a truth to somebody and if he is satisfied and then expect some respect from him, for example, why in Islam the titles are prohibited? Like Imam, Sheikh, or whatever. Why? Although we use it without realizing, because if you are a knowledgeable person, you have to teach the needy ones. That's your existential responsibility. But I am a knowledgeable person, I am mufti, they put, or I am sheikh, I am imam, put the title in front of your name. Isn't it wrong? It's not you know, what the Quran teaches. But unfortunately, we are not that sensitive in this kind of, for example, I can ask you, was the Prophet or did the Prophet ever had a special cloth distinguishing himself from the rest of the society? Anybody?
Right.
It was like everyone. Did the Prophet sit in a special position while he was discussing the matters with his friends? So, special clergy clothes, clergy titles, clergy states is not what the Prophet taught us. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. That's why if we don't realize the foundation of the Sharia requirements, then we may imitate other traditions. For example, in Catholicism, there is a status of a certain person. And including Catholicism and other Christian traditions, maybe Hindu and Buddhist traditions, the monks have a special status in the society, special clothes signifying their status, making it different from the rest of the society, rest of the ordinary people. It is missing the point. The Prophet nowadays, Prophet had halakha, and he was sitting somewhere in the halakha, in the circle, not a special corner, higher place. No, khutbah is different. Given sermon different. Because in the sermon, you don't express your ideas. Unfortunately, nowadays, the sermons are presented as the person who gives the sermon, the idea of the person who gives the sermon. No, sermon is only to announce the requirements or the principles of Sharia to people, what the Quran teaches. It is just a loudspeaker, not the source of the knowledge. But nowadays we distribute or we transfer knowledge, our knowledge. These are all missing the point. That's why we don't notice the difference in Sharia, application of Sharia, and application of secular laws. We are missing it because we are not aware of it and we don't practice. Unfortunately, when we don't practice, we don't notice. Or other way around, if you don't notice, you won't be able to practice. Now, got it, inshallah. So, why so many centuries and revolutions, developments, and clashes in human history, Sharia preserved its genuineness and validity. Still appropriate to human nature, still appropriate to the nature of the creation of everything, never clashes with the reality. If we see that, for example, many people ask unexpected questions about Islam. Why do they ask these questions? Because they look at the society, Muslim community, see the practice there, and this practice causes in their mind questions because it doesn't confirm their human reality. And they are right. All the oppositions, all the criticisms of Islam really is because of mispractice of the teachings of the Quran. And I don't blame them. But we can only expect them, come on, don't look at the people's mistakes. Go and investigate it. But it is not fair. Why is it not fair? The person says, I studied Sharia. I graduated from the Kulliyah Sharia, it means Faculty of Sharia in Al-Azhar University. This person studies and also may have more extra information, knowledge. He doesn't realize this. How can I expect a layman who is not grown in the Muslim community, who has not been exposed to Islamic teachings, only traditional teachings, and this person, I say, no, you don't know because it is your mistake. That's why you develop your misconceptions about Islam. I have no right to say that. Do you understand? I have no right to say this. Even the person who has been trained in Islamic teaching for 20 years that doesn't realize. How can I expect a layman to realize these details? That's why we shouldn't blame any person who opposes Islam, saying that Islam says this and it doesn't make sense to me. I said, yeah, you are right. You are right. It doesn't make sense to you because it is presented in the wrong way. In details, very small details, we can understand that there is a big misrepresentation of, very large amount of misrepresentation of Islam in the society, in Muslim communities. Details are always missed. I think I was studying this actually, maybe several times I read it, maybe 10 times. But today, this morning, on the train, in the subway, I read this paragraph. I said, it's very difficult to explain this, which will make sense to us, to me. I deeply thought about it. What is that? How can I really confirm that? Although it sounds nice, the Sharia has preserved its genuineness and validity through so many centuries and revolutions, developments and clashes in human history. Yeah, changed since 1400 years. Really, human society changed. But of course, human nature didn't change. The creation, the order in creation didn't change. We have to understand that Sharia must be in alliance with human nature and the nature of the creation, because they are from the same source. Do you understand? So we have to see that, yeah, this statement sounds right and we like it. It's a claim. But how can you prove it? There are many oppositions towards Sharia saying that it is outdated, it is dangerous, the Sharia rules are going to overtake American Constitution. They are crazy about it. So our American Constitution is better than Sharia rules. That's what the people believe. We don't blame them. That's because if you look at the practice of the Muslim community, how they practice their religion, and American Constitution is really better than what they practice. What they practice. not what the Sharia is in fact. So Alhamdulillah, I said, if you solve this problem of this passage today, this paragraph today, it is a success. But it took me a hard time, really. How can we understand this? Of course, if you apply the fundamental principles, it is understandable. Inshallah, it is clear to me, but is it clear to you as well? Do you have any doubts? Okay, carry on. Go ahead. Let me see the time. Yeah, we have some time.
Considering all the points mentioned, listen with an attentive, reasoning mind. Despite being unlettered, having no material force, and never aiming at rulership or dominion, Prophet Muhammad, upon him be peace and blessings, acted in an unwavering manner, even on the most perilous occasions. He conquered minds. He made himself deeply loved by hearts. He established dominion over consciences and natures. He uprooted numerous established bad habits and characteristics and ingrained in their place the most laudable virtues, moral excellence, and praiseworthy characteristics. He removed hardness from hearts and aroused the most exalted feelings. He developed the core of true humanity in his followers and made them the greatest, most renowned, exemplary community in human history. He founded a formidable state in as short a time as 20 years, which was later to become the greatest power in the world within another 20 years, and which was to remain so far for almost 12 centuries. All these show to those who are not blind to the truth of his claim, his prophethood, and his devotion to the truth.
No. He wasn't a successful man. He was a prophet. He was a messenger. He was successful not because he was a successful man, because he was a prophet. That we have to make the distinction between personality of the man, Muhammad, and his mission. So you can go over, and so many things are going on here in this paragraph actually. No, so many points. Who will first unliterate, huh? But he says, listen with an attentive, reasoning mind. Be careful. He doesn't say listen with your religious faith. He says attentive, reasoning mind. It means you use your human qualities rather than your prejudices, your biases about religion. Then I am a believer, so I have to interpret it in the way that I believe. For example, the phrase we use and we hear, let's learn our religion. Look at this phrase. What is wrong with this phrase? For me, it is an observed language. What's wrong with this phrase? So we'll explain. Let's learn our religion. Okay? Or both at the same time. Okay.
The problem is that it's external.
External. Okay, let's hear.
It gives the impression that my belief is something that is collective, communal, something that isn't personal to me, but rather something that I share or inherit from a sense of, communal ties or familial ties.
You are not reading my mind. That's what I'm expecting, something else. But these are correct. But I had to say the fine point there. Who was first? You. Okay.
So I see two keywords there that's problematic to me personally. That's learn and our. Let's learn our religion. So I'm approaching the subject matter from a really biased mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I've already established some kind of
Okay.
like
Yeah.
ideology.
Yeah. Ideal. Our religion.
I guess the feeling that I get when I hear that phrase is as if the belief or the religion already exists and I don't have to develop through my own reasoning. It's like it's something that I just have to read and adopt versus, again, be attentive to my reality and reason with that reality and then form my belief.
Yeah, it is good. We're developing, mashallah, very
Really?
well. So our religion, so religion, look at the word, is Fariha said and also explained further by Qasim. Let's learning, we need to learn what our religion. Excuse me, if you have not learned, how can you have the religion? Religion needs to be learned. If you didn't know, if you didn't learn, it's not your religion. If you didn't make sense for you, how can you say that it is my religion? Because religion needs satisfaction, religion needs confirmation, religion needs security. So claim to religion has no base. What is said here in general? Claim to religion is no base. If you say, let's learn what Islam is teaching, not our religion. And that's correct. It's correct. Because we need to learn Christianity, we need to learn Buddhism, Hinduism, and Islam. We need to learn. We don't know. We are saying that we don't know. But as long as as soon as I say our religion, it's problematic. It's really contradictory. Some people also use, very frequently used in the air among the community, especially the leaders of the community, use this word. Let us strengthen our belief. It is the same problem. If it is not strong, it is not belief. If it is belief, it must be established. So it means when we affiliate ourselves or identify ourselves with a certain system of belief, we have no reason for it. As this says, reasoning mind behind it. There is no reasoning mind behind it. There is just culture, right? There is just culture, cultural identity. What's wrong with it? Cultural identity is secular. According to the secular means any kind of relationship between two elements of the created world, not between the created world and its creator. The secularism is very simple. There is no need to read philosophy books, etc. Anything related to anything which is established on two elements, which both of which belong to the creator. For example, I am doing it in order to get satisfaction. Yoga is the best example. I'm not against yoga, being sarcastic. All sorts of activities, most of the activities. I am eating this food to be satisfied. I am doing yoga, or what was it? Say, tell me.
Your health.
No. You said martial art. I am doing martial art to be satisfied, to have a healthy life, to have a better character. But look, both of the sides are in the world. Anyway, that's very simple to make the distinction between Sharia and between secular practices. How good it may seem, by helping the society. You know, I sit here, I help the society. It doesn't mean that
Sharia says, don't help the society. No, helping the society for what? No, when you help the society, you feel great. Look, here, Prophet. Helping the society belongs to the world. Feeling great belongs to the world. So recently, I don't remember mentioning this, but we have to have always triangular relationship like this. Yeah, this end, and this end. Yep. A, B, C, the angles. So A, if the A is connected to B directly, that is secular. If the A is connected to C through B, is Sharia. B represents what? Both of them, A and C, are the creation of B. Do you understand this? Very simple formula. No? Yes.
I wasn't that attentive.
Okay. No, I'm not going to. Sorry?
It's like a triangle.
Triangle makes the triangle. Always, for example, A, your action. B, the result you expect. Now, this relationship is, if this relationship is not established through B, A and C, right? This is triangle. A and C. If it is not established, the relationship between A and C through B.
We're gonna take down some artwork and we'll be really quiet.
All right, if you
Okay.
don't mind, you can take. Do you mind us speaking here?
No.
Oh, no. Eh?
Very sorry.
No, you don't have to be sorry. You are doing your duty.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
So, like one is action, second is outcome, everything.
So A, B, C. If the performance A is established with C directly without going through B, this is secular.
What was the again?
Be the creator of A and C. Now, the difference between yoga and prayer. In yoga, you do something in expectation of your calmness, healthy, etc. life. Yeah? You have to gain something as a result of performing yoga. Now, is it wrong? Performing yoga is not wrong, but it misses the reality. It should be in the form of prayer. If the prayer is performed in the name of, because if the yoga is performed as a rule of Sharia, it would be equal to prayer. Because in the prayer, you do the same concentration. Yeah? To do certain actions in order to express your understanding of your reality. So it looks like outwardly the same. Yeah. But if you perform prayer according to the requirements of Sharia, what happens? I perform this action because my creator asked me to do this, right? The result is by my creator. Again, I don't have direct relationship. So the reward of my performance is from my creator, depends on his will. Do you understand? Okay. Any question here? So if you want to check your life, you do this why? You eat why? Yeah? You speak why? If I speak, which I think I do, if I speak in order to impress you, now triangular, collapsed, became secular. If I speak to gain a status in the society, triangular, collapsed. Yeah? If I speak in order to pay it, collapsed. You understand? But for your official world transactions must be performed with the consciousness of that's how I am created. That is how the responsibility is given to me by my creator. Yeah, if someone comes and asks you to treat his or her teeth, yeah, dentist. So you should have this mind that look, my creator has given me the ability to do this job. So I have to perform it as a result of the will of my creator, because I am not a dentist, but you are a dentist. Do you see the difference? So you are given the responsibility. If someone, or if I have my teeth aching or problem, if someone, let's make it a simple example, one of my family members are complaining about his or her teeth problem, what I do, I take it to a dentist, right? Because you are qualified by a grace of God. If you say, I studied for how many years, I developed this talent, I became a dentist, qualified dentist. Look at all these are horizontal relationship, not vertical. Horizontal. It means I spent time, I studied, I get the quality. It's not created. So what you do, not you, what the person does, uses his ability or her ability as a result of his work, nothing to do with creator. Is it true? We have to question. Is it true? Where did you get this ability? Where did you get this potentiality? Did you create it? You asked. We studied once very recently. Free will, using the free will cannot be understood as creating. Using the free will is demanding, asking, begging, petitioning. Please give me, give me. So if you do it with the consciousness of the grace of God has enabled you to learn how to treat this problem, then it is application of the Sharia. Your ordinary work becomes a form of worship. If you do it as a result of my talent that I gained through studying 6 years and another 3 years of internship, and then I am a qualified dentist, then all your work is secular, wasteful, remains in this world. When somebody dies, they put dentist Ali on your gravestone. Nothing else you gain from it. It's very simple. You do the same action, but consciousness is required. But this consciousness can be or should be obtained through reasoning mind, attentive reasoning, careful mind. You have to question. We have to use our abilities. There are many points here in this paragraph that we can study. Who can summarize this paragraph so that like next week we should start from the fourth way? Summarizing, underline. I underlined reasoning mind, underline unliterate person, underline conquering minds and loved by hearts, and underline consciousness, dominion over consciousness, not power, and underlined uprooted all bad habits, and underlined again, not aiming at rulership of dominion. That's another problem. Rulership of dominion. If you listen to Orientalists, Middle Eastern studies teaching, what they say, Muhammad went to Medina and became the leader of the community. But in Islam, if you say, I want to be in this position, it is against humbleness, modesty. What you should do, wait, if the people employ you, appoint you. If the people appoint you, that's why making propaganda, advertisement is prohibited in Islam. The reasoning is the same. Propaganda, it means my production is better than something else. Making advertisement, you need this, advertising it, prohibited. If someone needs it, you make it available, and that's it. If they need it, they will find it, don't worry. No advertisement, just present. In the market, the Prophet asked people, what are you selling? What are you selling? Okay, let's say you are selling oranges. Put it and present it. Make it available to you. Don't shout, the best orange. Propaganda is prohibited. Rasulullah prohibited it. These are very fine points. That seems to be very simple, but really these minor things destroys the secular habit of life. It's very simple. Fundamentally knocks them down. So as a result, we understand that his success was as an illiterate man, knowing all the details of human beings and social life, and establishing all the principles which are ever valid, is not a human success, cannot be human success.
I guess it also goes back into the point that you were making with the triangular or three-way relationship, that even if a man had that much potential, you can't guarantee the outcome. The outcome requires, again, the creator's, let's say, support.
Act of creation.
Act of the creation, yeah.
Because potential is there, but never means ability to create. But need. For potentially, we are hungry. Potentially, we are given the ability to learn, but we cannot create learning. Can you manipulate your mind? And you have to register this. So you cannot really, for example, speaking, you cannot really speak because you gained it. You want, look at the growth of a child. How do they speak? They just find themselves speaking, right? And you cannot create the result. When you understand this, Muhammad's success was not his endeavor, as a result of his endeavor. He has to do it, he has to do it. And he did it. Not because he was successful, but prophethood was successful. It means will of God was successful. Will of God was successful. I'm repeating. Not his will was successful. And in the Quran it says, I am nothing but a worshiper of God. Beggar. The worshiper means really accepting his need and begging the Creator to create the result. It's very simple. I know it is very fast, going over the paragraph,
But inshallah, we can talk, we can read again and think about it and try to understand the reason why the text says certain things. And how can I make sense of it? Yeah, and I like this attentive reasoning mind. Attentive reasoning mind. We have to use this ability, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة الفاتحة. الله